Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Atrocious. You can also call me Jake, and today we have the top 16 match of the Osaka, Japan OP06 championships, the final tournament, I believe, of OP06 in Japan. Very exciting stuff ahead. We've seen a lot of development in the meta through Yamato and Perona, and now we'll see what is crowned victor next by the end of the night. Numerous people attempting for their shot at the fame. Now we're in the top 16. I'm excited to help commentate all of this. Now, before we get into the match, I just want to say I do not own the rights to this stream. This is the actual official live stream that's going on right now as I'm recording. I'll leave a link down in the description if you do want to watch. I will not make any monetary value off of these videos. Oh my gosh, they changed the background. Nice. I like the red. Now, here's talking about the second season winners, I believe. Sakazuki, Katakuri, Sakazuki, Yamato, and Perona. I believe the first Yamato win was the start of OP06. We've done several of these commentaries on the channel. If you're interested in checking out the iCard up top, I do a lot of One Piece TCG commentary, both at these championship levels, but also at my local events. There's lots of matches to watch. So it looks like this is the diversity of the event. 17 different Sakazukis, 5 Katakuris, 3 Enels, 2 Gekomorias, 2 Yamatos, 1 Ryuji, 1 Black Yellow Luffy, and Red Purple Law. That's interesting. And so we've got our first game here. I think this is actually the top 32 match. Are they doing top 32 now? Either way, this is going to be an exciting one. I don't know what the leaders are yet. You probably already know by the title and the thumbnail, but it looks like we've got Katakuri versus Red Purple Law. Let's go. I'm so excited for this Red Purple Law. I think this is the first time we've seen Red Purple Law in the championship stream, so I'm super excited to cast this one. This should be good, and hopefully it can squeak out the win against Katakuri. Hopefully there's just enough bottom decking effects, enough power reducing effects to really just halt the Katakuri players. So only time will tell what is going to happen with this one. I've got my Red Purple Law list, probably not 100% the same, but probably generally the same, I would think, to prepare myself for this match. I'm going to turn it down a little bit on my end. I'm listening to the Japanese broadcasters. All right, both players' lights are out. We got the Ryuji Vinsmoke, Raise Max, Trafalgar Law, Zoro, and the Beppo in hand. So not a bad starting hand. Going first, second turn, you can lay down that Zoro to get a little bit of pressure on, and turn 1, you can also put down that Raise Max if you want. The Katakuri player having the Amande, Parasphero, Gadatsu, Beijei, and also the You Should Be the One to Disappear event. So pretty good as well, especially going second. Your second turn, you're able to put down a Parasphero and swing for 7 to get just as much pressure as what that Law player is going to put out. And so here we go, starting the match. The Law player, like I mentioned, playing that Raise Max first, and then going into Katakuri's turn, they just get that Dawn and pass. Moving into turn 3, could play, and now that they have the Zoro Juro in hand after this 5k swing, they could either put the Zoro or the Zoro Juro. I think after this, the Zoro Juro is the better play, and that's what they're going to do because you get the ability to ramp the Dawn after in this next turn. And so now on the 4 Dawn turn for the Katakuri, probably going to be swinging 7 and putting that Parasphero down. I would say probably in that order. This feels like the right thing. I don't know if Red Purple Law is playing Jet Pistol. I don't think they are, but you probably want to be wary of that just in case. So looking at their life right there, it looks like an event card, not 100% sure. That Law player is going to take that life and get the Trafalgar Law blocker, and then here comes the Parasphero as mentioned. Now on the 5 Dawn turn, thinking about what they want to do, they could attach this 1 Dawn to the Zorojiro, and that's kind of what they're thinking about. They might do it. I do think you should, because with 5 Dawn, you still have a lot of flexibility, right? With the Zorojiro, because you're at 3 life, you will be able to ramp a Dawn as active, so it's as almost if you had 5 Dawn the entire time. Going to be end up bottom decking the Raise Max to minus the Perosphere and then attaching the 1 Dawn there. This could be really good in case there's like a Thunderbolt in the top of the life. You know they put it on top, and so they're going to take that. It's going to be a Lost Impact, which actually is also the case, KOing one of the characters, which would have been Raise Max. So now you've effectively been able to guarantee that your leader effect is going to hit and take out and bottom deck this Perosphere. And so now swinging 5 at the leader right here, has a couple counter cards in hand, could also take that if they wanted to. Let's see what they end up doing. And it does look like they're going to take it, getting a Perosphere. So 2 really good life cards to start out in this game for the Katakuri, only revealing 1 though. So going to be laying down that Rush Zoro and attaching the other 2 Dawn to it, taking that life, which is Charlotte Pudding, and then going ahead and using leader effect to bottom deck one of the Perospheros. So putting down the Beppo as well, and you're behind on Dawn. You do get to ramp 1 to get back at 4. You'll be at 6 next turn, which is a pretty good number. So now the Katakuri goes, and with the Charlotte Cracker as the top deck, you could see that come into play, maybe for its double attack, or maybe just used as counters. So going to be thinking about what they want to do on this 6 Dawn turn. Could attach 1 to the Katakuri, swing at one of these characters, Perosphere, swing at another character, and then use Gadatsu, potentially, if 1 doesn't get KO, to guarantee that KO. Now, if you're going to go that route and use the Gadatsu to clear these 2 rested Zoro characters, then what I actually would suggest is using either the Katakuri or the Perosphere to swing at life. You could use the Perosphere to swing at Zorojiro right here, which is I think what he is doing at this point, and then you attach 1 to the Katakuri, swing 7 at life, and then use the Gadatsu because they're at 3 life left to pop potentially the Zoro. Now that kind of goes a little bit south if you go in that order. So maybe what you actually want to do after swinging this Perosphere and KOing the Zorojiro is using Gadatsu right away as they're at 3 life to pop the Rush Zoro, and then swing 7 to try to get them down to 2 life. So with 4 cards in hand, 3 of them being the blocker laws, it's a little bit in a precarious position, I feel like, for the Trafalgar Law player. He's thinking about trashing 2 of the laws, but it looks like that swing was going to be in the Zorojiro, as I thought, and then going the route that I had mentioned, probably the best route of using Gadatsu and then swinging 7 to try to get them at 2 life. That life right there that they just slid to the bottom of the deck was a you're the one that should disappear, which will guarantee them an extra life at the end of the game. So we'll see how much influence that has on this one. Going now into the Lost turn, they top deck another Rush Zoro, which is really, really good, I feel like, and also a Raise Max. So they could get rid of a character or 2 on this turn, could be very beneficial to them. But something to note is that since they are tied on life right now, they're each tied at 6, Beppo is not going to be able to use its when attacking effect right away. You do have to use the leader effect or a Dawn -1 effect in order to get Beppo to work. Now, the Ryuji Vinsmoke does say that if you have equal or less Dawn, you get to draw 2 cards. And so that could be very beneficial to the red purple law on this turn as well. So starting off with the leader 5k swing, going to be blocked out and countered with the cracker. Going to be laying down that 4 for the Ryuji Vinsmoke, like I mentioned, and they've got 5 cards in hand. Going to be drawing 2. And going to be laying down 1 as well for the raise max to minus one of the characters and then use leader effect, and that character is going to be Gidatsu that gets out of here. So could use the Beppo to swing, instead going to be playing off of the leader effect, the Rush Zoro, and now swinging 5 somewhere. It could be at the Parasphero, could be at the leader. I think it's at life, in my opinion, because of the motion that he did with his hand. So just a 5, you only need a 1k counter. Going to be ditching this Charlotte Pudding, not really in a position to play that card now, and going to be using the final Dawn to swing 6 now, and it's going to cause a 2k counter of the Capone Beige. So only a 3-card hand for the Katakuri leading into their turn now 4. Getting a Charlotte Monday, another 2k counter you really enjoy with that 10-drop Big Mom in hand. We'll see exactly where this goes. Could do something interesting with the Lost Impact. You could use the Lost Impact to KO the Ryuji Vinsmoke and then use your other Dawn to swing at the Zoro, swing at the Beppo to be able to take it out. They do have that card in their hand right there that they're just showing on screen. I forget what it's called, but it's a 2k counter at this point. And so I think you have to decide how much time you have in this game to decide whether or not you want to clear the board. So that card, by the way, just looking it up, Hitokuri Kamazo. So they're showing Lost Impact right now on screen, like I mentioned, because it is a 2-way effect that you can use. Choose one or the other, KOing up to one of your opponent's 5 cost or lower characters, or if your opponent has 1 life, deal 1 damage and then add the top card of your life to your hand. So the second effect doesn't really apply right here, but they could do it potentially if they wanted to go ahead and swing, but that would also cause you to lose a little bit of your life as well if you use that. So I think you would probably only use the second effect of impact if you're going for lethal, which I don't think the Katakuri is in this turn. So thinking about what he wants to do, that Charlotte Lin right there is eye-catching for later in the game, that 12k body. We're going to be attaching one swinging 7 now. Going to be looking at that life. It's a 7-drop Big Mom now. So we'll see exactly what he decides to do with it. It's going to be discarding 2 cards right there. 8k counter, a 1k and a 2k there to block out of that one. I think that was saving one of his characters. So going to be thinking about what he wants to do. The impact is looking more and more appealing, in my opinion, especially after that block there. You definitely want to make sure that you clear characters on this board because you want to minimize the amount of swings that you're going to be seeing in the next turn, especially because they play lots of rush cards. So going to be attaching the 3 Dawns, swinging 8 potentially with the Parasphero, and if they swing 8 with Parasphero somewhere, then they're definitely using that impact card. So going to be doing that first, seeing where it goes. It could be in life, it could be in one of the characters. They're not going to have enough to counter out of it, so it was going to be directed at Beppo and going to be KO'd. So you had to choose between the Ryuji Vinsmoke and the Zoro. Don't know what I'd rather do. I think probably the Ryuji Vinsmoke is the better of the two if I had to take a guess. And now back at 6 Dawn for this Law player. They do top deck a Gordon, so the Gordon could be good in minusing a character or two. If you're not confident about getting rid of this Parasphero, then what you can do is use those two to get rid of it. So going to be swinging the Zoro and getting a 2k counter out of it. Going to be swinging the Law now at face and going to be getting that life now with a 7-drop Charlotte Lin in hand. Going to be laying the 4 for the Law and then 1 more for the Gordon. Bottom decking the Gordon for the leader effect. Bottom decking that and playing down the other Trafalgar Law and then laying down the 1 raise max to end the turn with a 0-card hand at this point. So now going into 8 Dawn, I believe, or 10 Dawn actually now. 10 Dawn in this turn. Could play the Charlotte Lin, the big 10 drop. You would be able to tank out the Zoro or at least one of the Trafalgar Laws, and it looks like it's going to be that Zoro. And so using the Lin, adding a life and taking one away from the Law, this game is going to be close. So looking at what they've got going right now, it's going to be a top deck Rush Zoro, which is really, really good. You don't have a way to bottom deck the Lin at this point. The Raise Max can't really get you there, but you can start out by swinging 5 at the Katakuri. That's what they're going to do. They could use that You're the One That Should Disappear 0 cost counter, just get rid of one of their Lins, but instead they're going to be taking it. It's another 10 drop. My goodness, Katakuri. And so now thinking about what they want to do, I think it's really risky to go for the swings here. I mean, you could swing with leader and you could use your Rush Zoro to swing, but it looks like they're going to be attaching 2 Dawn now to the Trafalgar Law, so going to be swinging 7 here. You could get out of it with that You're the One That Should Disappear, and I do think that this is a good time to play that, but I'm going to be thinking about what they want to do. If they end up getting out of this, you could use the 3 Dawn, attach it to the Raise Max to swing minimal with your leader, and then also utilize the leader effect to maybe not bottom deck a character, but put your Zoro down for free for another swing. So we do know what that last life is, You're the One That Should Disappear, and we know that's going to grant them a life. And so this right here, this life is going to be one that does it. So going to be trashing the 7 drop Big Mom, putting another life down. You need 2 more swings. They took that last one, so they'll probably take this one. It looks like it's going to be a counter card, and no, the Zoro is going to swing at the Yamato, and it's going to be countered out so close, literally just 1k on that 2k Yamato from ST13, and so the Katakuri player is going to swing with the Big Mom for life and then attach the rest of the Dawn onto the leader and swing for game. So close if you're the red purple Law player, but just not enough for the Katakuri. So thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. In this video, again, the link in the description below for the official live stream if you do want to watch that. We'll do the rest of the matches as well throughout the night and the morning, and yeah, hope to see you again soon. I'm excited for the rest of this tournament.